there's a lot that I've come to expect with the God of High School. Gods basically being summoned from the earth, to then having a giant sword almost come crashing down on very irrelevant and important characters that easily could have bit the dust this week, had another not bashed on their drums, played a little musical jamboree as a dude switched between machine gun to bow to blowing fire from his mouth that then went through a spell that amplified it into a laser beam. There's going to be amazing animation for its battle choreography, it's amazing camera work that feels dynamic in 3D as if there's actually a person with a camera following every move, so it feels very immersive. There's a lot that we expect with this show, but I'll be honest, I didn't see potentially, if they truly commit to this, that Park Ilpio will be the key that is supposedly being sought after. And the end of the episode was intriguing beyond words. Like, I don't even know how to express how excited I am. I'm to the point of excitement where I'm almost like just so dumbfounded I don't know what to say or think, and that's an amazing feeling. Because ever since this man's been introduced, I thought he had an intriguing persona and would be a very interesting potential foil or ally to someone like Jin Mori, who is so just headstrong. He's very carefree in a lot of ways, but he clearly has a lot of potential and abilities, especially considering the fact that he supposedly doesn't want to use this Chariot, which allows him to borrow power from the gods. He wants to rely on his own strength, and supposedly his own strength is doing him pretty well if he's able to just, say, oh, these are my friend's moves, I'm going to use them middle of the battle, and we haven't even ever seen him train up to that point to use those abilities. So it's quite interesting how they built it up as if he was clearly going to lose, because even if he lost this match, it wouldn't have been the end-all be-all. We still, of course, have Mira's fight, so she could have salvaged the entire situation. So I thought they were building up to him getting basically his ass handed to him on a silver platter. I didn't think he was going to win, and maybe some people say that's arrogant, as if, are you insane? Like, he's the main character, look how strong he is, he's probably one of, if not the strongest characters in this series, he's the main character, that's how the formulas go. But it looked impossible. It honestly looked like they weren't going to go the direction of randomly powering him up, and honestly, because I thought they weren't going to randomly power Jin up, I bought into the fact that they wouldn't do the reverse to his opponent. And it was interesting watching it because it felt so one-sided, as if clearly he has a long way to go, and that was something that was very apparent even before this match and the match before, when the head of this organization was saying, hey, you guys need to get stronger. If you guys can't use these abilities, you're not going to make it far in this tournament. So I thought maybe this was going to be like a wake-up call for Jin, as if he still has a long way to go and maybe he's going to actually have to borrow power and make a contract if he's qualified to do so. So to see it just be so one-sided, and then to see him switch after basically getting a teaching lesson, which I love how they tied it once again to his grandfather, who's told him like, hey, my grandson's a handful. If you ever see him in the future and you can teach him something, please do so because he's going to need it. Which grandpa must have some future sight because he's absolutely correct. And it was interesting how, rather than doing what I'm typically used to, where the opponent to the main character is basically saying, here's your weaknesses and this is why you suck, even before learning the backstory of why he was being a coach to him, it felt like he was a mentor, as if he was saying, this is your weakness, this is what you need to do to improve it, figure it out. And I like how in the middle of the battle, it wasn't like he randomly powered up or something like that. But really what he did was he's like, you know what, you're right. No one's ever really called me out on this, but you're right. I need to fix this up. And I love how he starts using his friend's moveset. So he could do things that were different than his own, but it's exactly what he needed to do, rather than just using abilities that are very up close and personal that damages his body. He uses more distance. He uses more physical abilities that actually let you keep your endurance and stamina up. So I like how they're able to do something like that and really play with the viewer's emotions and really turn a battle that felt so one-sided into one that we were just probably thinking, or at least most people are probably thinking, that he won the battle. I mean, it looked like he was happy, as if he kept a promise to someone who meant a lot to him, and then everything gets crazy, and I'm like, oh my god. This show is still able to throw curveballs that I'm not able to predict in the slightest. And I love that because you have this ability that lets you make these contracts with spiritual beings and just things from other worlds, it feels like, you're able to have something that feels menacing but also inspiring. Because what I've said since nearly the beginning of this anime is, even if I'm rooting for the main characters, you can throw really, really bad characters or someone who I deeply respect, like someone like Park, who I just thought, you know what, if he wins here, I'm not going to be mad in the slightest because it feels like he's earned that victory if he's able to accomplish it. And to see something that felt so almost majestic but also a little terrifying, as people are like, the key's been awakened, and I'm like, really? Is this a red herring? Are they actually committing to this? Because usually you would assume the key would be one of the central main characters, not someone who comes up as almost like a rival slash almost a coach in this episode. And that's an incredible piece of development that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, because like I mentioned, even if Jin does lose, it doesn't mean that their team's going to be eliminated, because there's still another match left. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I'm really excited for that, because this was just an adrenaline pumping episode where you bounce around 3 really intriguing fights. You have one where basically it's just someone standing still as they keep their shield up. It has this cross formation as the sword that we've seen previously that apparently crashed on Jin's grandfather comes crashing down. And you could tell that it was a sword of the gods. And then as the actual godlike being came down, I was like, how? How is this man gonna survive this? I was like, they've already proved that they're not afraid to kill off characters. So I was like, what if they actually do kill him off? What would happen then? What would be the next step in this story's narrative? And then you see people on the rooftop, and I'm like, are they really just gonna have like a jamboree, just kind of have a little dance party? And they did, and then you just see some of the most insane things I think we see in the show today. I'd say this was even more amazing and insane than a godlike sword crashing down on people, because he's throwing every weapon left and right as he's jamming out having the time of his life. And I wasn't sure if this was friend or foe, and then when I saw that he was actually trying to destroy the sword, I was like, well, God bless this here, because holy shit, this is amazing. And what was really interesting is the directing that they used for this battle, and then also Jin's battle, is they kept bouncing back and forth and doing this very dynamic camera work where it felt like someone had a jetpack on and was flying around both battles as you saw everything from every which angle. And I love how they're never boring with their shots. They go up, they go down, they go left and right. They literally go in 360 degrees formations. So it never feels like you're looking at the same viewpoint as you normally would, because a lot of times when you get these martial arts anime, you feel like you're just looking at them from the sides and maybe up top if you're lucky. But here it feels like with the amount of force that is being thrown these characters' way, it feels as if we should be flying around them to get every angle. And that's exactly what this anime is doing. And when you bounce into that just amazing music, the music was honestly the star of the battle for me, because it really added this element that made it feel intense and inspiring, but also almost like an anthem that you didn't know who was going to be the victor and whose anthem it actually was. And I love that, because it just felt like every piece of this medium was working together in this beautiful harmony. And just when you thought you saw it all, they just threw another element, another beat, another piece of animation that you thought impossible. And just the way they're actually able to capture such realistic movements in such a supernatural setting is amazing, because you do have that motion capture. You do have it feel like they actually traced over and made sure that they made the human portions look amazing, as the rest of the animation team just had a field day basically doing whatever they wanted with the overall supernatural elements. And it was incredible to watch. It was basically Thanksgiving for your eyes, and honestly your ears as well, with how good the sound direction was in this episode. It just feels as if they definitely know what they're doing now. And I've mentioned I've loved this anime since episode 1, but a couple episodes back, it really felt like it got its groove a little better than it's had. And it just feels like it's getting progressively more and more intense. And you know when we get that season 2, it's going to be 10 times better than what we've already loved, or maybe even the stuff you've disliked about it is going to be completely tossed out the window for more favorable outcomes, and that's really incredible to me. This definitely has a lot of potential to go down some dramatic and also inspiring routes with the end of the episode, but I guess time will tell where they're actually going to take it, because honestly, your guess is as good as mine, as I don't know what's going to happen. It feels like character motivations are definitely front and center right now, with the amazing production being a very close second. So, as always, let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And what was the most shocking part of the episode for you? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.